Our group's topic was maintaining African American participation in U.S. baseball. The purpose of this study was to explore the decline of African American participation in baseball in the United States and to see how we can reverse these trends.
To start out with some background information. At first, when African Americans started to play baseball, the MLB would not let them play in their league. So they had to make a separate league, which was known as the Negro League. This league was the start of separation and discriminations between African Americans and whites in baseball. This separation lasted until Jackie Robinson was able to break this color barrier. Jackie Robinson was one of the best players in the Negro League, and therefore he was signed by the Brooklyn Dodgers as the first African American player in the major leagues. Now, to talk about some things of how the decline has started for African Americans in baseball. CC Sabathia, which is one of the best African American pitchers in the 21st century, stated this: "The lack of baseball scholarships relative to basketball and football scholarships is a key contributing factor as to why young kids strive to play basketball and football instead of baseball. Many African American youth now seek to play the bigger sports of football and basketball because, one, it will help them more financially down the road, two, it is integrated in their culture, and three, they have role models of the same race that are prominent in these sports of basketball and football."
As you can see in the graph on the pie graph on my right, only about 29% of Major League Baseball players are African American. It started out much smaller than that, but in the 70s and 80s it expanded and that number was much greater. And as you can see in the graph above the pie graph, it declined quite a bit since the 80s.
I'm going to talk about how the MLB is creating interest in the African American community, uniting the past and the future. Travis Waldron wrote a piece about how Tony Clark was hired as the representative of the Major League Baseball Players Association, making him the first African American to hold such a position in baseball. In this position, he wants to unite the past and the future of the game. In doing this, the MLB has set aside $30 million to promote the RBI program and upstart programs in rural areas of the United States where baseball isn't popular. Also, the game is promoting African Americans like Andrew McCutcheon as the face of the game. In other steps, the MLB is honoring Jackie Robinson every year with every player in baseball wearing the number 42. Also paying tribute to the Negro Leagues at the same time.
Research has been done to show to describe the lack of youth participation, and youth say that they're not as interested in baseball anymore because of the rise of NFL and NBA video games, the experience and the experience they've had going to games firsthand. There's also been an increase in the number of pay-to-play baseball leagues, and which makes baseball harder for all youth to play. And in the past couple of years, there has been a resurgence of African American youth in baseball. In 2014, Monet Davis was the first African American girl to star in the Little League World Series, earning her an appearance on the Sports Illustrated front page. And also in 2014, the Jackie Robinson West Little League team won the Little League World Series, and they became the first team comprised completely of African American youth to do so. So this really shows that there is interest in African American youth for baseball, and they also have role models to look up to.
And now for our recommendations on how to increase African American participation in U.S. baseball. The MLB should introduce more programs and keep funding programs like the RBI program, which would help increase participation in urban areas, in inner cities, which is where a lot of African American children live. The MLB or a different organization should come up with a baseball equipment rental program, and this would greatly decrease the cost of entering into baseball, and it would greatly decrease the cost of having to have equipment every year. the MLB should also come up with a program for teams to help get families out to the games. Families of like 5 or more kids, and they know that they come from low income areas, they should be able to have cheap tickets, and they should also get something to make them incentivized to not only want to come to the games again, but also want to go out and play themselves, whether that be in the backyard or join in a league. And they should also do something to make all kids want to come play baseball, not just African Americans.